how it started for me. Here's my story. I always tell this story because it's absolutely true. Um, Jay and I had met when I was working at a radio station hosting a show in Wisconsin. And after that, we just sort of, you become friends with people. I don't know a lot about them, except that this guy, I know this guy's doing, you sent me. All right, let's see. They'll receive an invite to join your broadcast.
Woohoo! We did it. Slowly but surely, it says it's adding you. So here's the thing as Jay's being added. Um, I, at one point for like 2 years, you vaguely are talking to somebody, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to see what my crazy friend Jay. Whoa. Not, you found Bigfoot, you found him.
Thank
No.
you. Thank you.
See, I knew you were friendly, Mr. Bigfoot. That was nice.
Hola, hola. Don't know why it
Hello.
didn't work originally.
Wow, this is much better than when I used last time. I haven't done it in like over a year when I'd bring somebody on and you'd get that tiny little thing and it
Right.
was always real warbly and would drag the feed down.
Yep.
And Jay's lovely wife, Katie, is just tuned in. So anyway, I'm going to start my story and then I'll get into it with you. Is
Yeah.
that, I wanted to see, I always talk about, want to see what my crazy friend Jay is doing out in the woods. Yeah, exactly. Like, you what? And I'm like, okay, Bigfoot, and even with Jay, when he's not looking, I'm kind of like, okay, Bigfoot. This
Goalie.
whole process was me, as you know, learning my own paranormal prejudice. And what I mean by that is that here's the bottom line. And I always say this, which is there are too many reports, there are too many witnesses. They all can't be crazy and they all can't be misidentifications. Even if 1% of those, and there's been a lot, continually a lot, reports are accurate, we are looking at something that we don't understand. We don't know. There is all kinds of things that seem to go along with the Bigfoot, but they could just be other unrelated woods, forest phenomena, if you will. But Jay, what drove you to want to do this documentary?
Well, the documentary, I think it's just because, well, you know me, throughout my life, I take pictures and document everything. Not so much for a documentary per se, but it's just what I do. I do it daily. Hey, what are you doing? Don't try to push me down. No, just but when I first started doing this, I mean, number one, I'm gonna go on the line. I was doing ghost investigations from what 2007 to probably 2013, and I've always known about Bigfoot, but Bigfoot is just it's just a legend, right? It doesn't exist, and it wasn't for that one night in 2013 where some of my team members at the time, when we did go out and we heard something that almost sounded simian. And I know that's not the question. I'm just kind of warming you up a little bit for the documentary part.
I know you. I know you're as bad as I am. I mispreface everything I say. You're Mr. Elaborate everything you say.
Some people call me a male Edith Bunker, so tell me to stifle it whenever you want to. Okay, so it was at that point is when I realized that maybe there is something to it, to possible Bigfoot in Wisconsin even. Of course, my wife, who's watching, would probably want to say, no, not here in Wisconsin, maybe out in the Pacific Northwest, where all the mountains and the forests are. But I'm telling you, the Kettle Moraine's pretty big. And
can you see the comments on your end?
I see no comments at all.
Katie just wrote, stifle that laugh out loud. I love you. I love you, Katie.
No, I will not stifle it. Look at my feet. All right, so I can't see the comments. All I can see is you, Mary.
Okay.
This is like we're having a conversation. And people are laughing at me while we do this, which is okay. All right, so, but then every time I go out, I do like to document everything, not even just the captures or the experiences or anything like that, but the journey of going out with friends, going out in the woods, and just going hiking. And, you know, you do enough of that over, you know, five years, all of a sudden you have enough to all of a sudden put something together. And when I came up, what's that?
No, go ahead.
And when I originally started this, it did not mean to start off as a documentary. As everybody knows, you and I were involved in, you know, the pre part of a documentary called Into the Woods. And we actually had some people following us around documenting everything. We had so much information. It was going to be great because it was going to be Bigfoot and other phenomenon.
And you didn't even do, because you are I always say like a video scryer, but that's not the right word. You always do a lot, but because they were out there with us, we tended not to film as much because you had that.
Right, and it was finally nice because I'm the one who's always taking the video of everybody, and in half my footage, it's always me behind the camera with somebody else. So it's kind of nice to have somebody film me saying, wow, he really is out in the woods. But anyway, you know, and unfortunately that did fall through. And, you know, it would have been a hard project to tackle because we didn't have all of the lost footage and you can't recreate that. So at that point, we kind of let that.
And I'm going to interrupt you because honestly, I think what you have done now is way better than that could have been anyway. So I really, because the focus is changed. There wasn't one before, and you have created a story within the stories. And I like where Finding Jay has gone and what it's about. And you might not have been tuned in, but I was saying that what I like about it is that there is probably, out of, let's say, the 20 that you have on there, I think maybe there's only about 4 that are actual investigators. But I like that because it's authentic responses to people experiencing strange things in the woods.
Right. Well, and that's just it. Like you said, is over the years, you know, we went out a lot, and you know, we just went out this past Saturday, which was cool.
Wisconsin, Charles.
What's that?
I'm answering questions in between. Charles asked a question. Jay's in Wisconsin.
Yes, in Wisconsin, and I mean, I pulled people out, even my brother-in-laws, where one of them is a total skeptic. And he still would go out with me just to go out in the woods, you know, which is cool because that's what I like to do. So after our documentary fell apart, I thought, well, I'm going to be at the 2019 PA Bigfoot Camping Adventure in Farmington, Pennsylvania. And I wanted something to give somebody. I mean, everybody out there has movies, has written books, and I didn't have the time for that. So I wanted to go through my 5 years of research and just put some testimonies, you know, like we always do testimonies in the car afterwards, and, you know, and it put some things on there like that. Next thing I know, it turned into something much bigger than anything I would have ever dreamed of. And I mean, it's been a long year. I mean, just ask Katie and my kids. I mean, long nights, and just getting interviews, and just putting this together, and to be creative, you know, working full time, you know, being here for my kids, my younger kids, and still trying to find time to be creative, to have the creative juices to put this together. Now, without that being said, Katie helped me co-write this because you liked something very particular about it that was actually her idea. so I can't even take the credit on that.
It was the one thing I'm like, I really like this. And it's
Right.
like, Katie did that.
Well,
But that's okay.
yeah, I always say it's like, did you ever see a movie, Music and Lyrics, with Drew Barrymore, Hugh Grant? Hugh Grant?
No,
Hugh Grant.
musical lyrics.
Music and Lyrics.
No.
All right. Well, anyway, long story short, because I'll stifle it. There was Drew Barrymore was helping a writer out to fill in gaps. That's what Katie did.
Yeah. So I'm going to interrupt because we have Bill Brock here, who is wants to know why this was important to you. What is the end game for you and the goal? I know the answer, but you can tell.
The end game for what, the documentary or my research?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's referencing the documentary.
The documentary is something that I wanted to have absolute creative control, because of course anything that you see on TV, unfortunately, is by producers is gonna put things the way they want to see it, the way they think the audience want to see it, and really beef it up as this could be real, that could be Bigfoot. In my case, my bottom line was to share my story and to put that out there, saying this, people can joke, if you say you believe in Bigfoot, that's the butt end of every joke out there. So, when people ask me that, it's kind of like, hey, I go out and hike, and if this happens, this is where it's at. So my end game would be to get the word out there saying I'm a credible person, and I'm not gonna throw Bigfoot down your throat, but I'm gonna say, have an open mind, look at this, watch this, and maybe there's something more to what Bigfoot is. Like you said perfectly in the documentary. Yeah. It's not so much Bigfoot exists, but what is a Bigfoot? Right. Because that's where I'm at right now. Have I had a upfront close encounters, Harry and the Hendersons type? No, but I've seen a lot of crazy things that I can't explain,
Yeah. See, my thing, and I mean, I have to be, and that's, I think though, that's why again, the fact that you even put me in this is a good thing, because I'm like that. We're always teased when we used to back in the day of Mulder and Scully, mentality between the two of us. And with that, I'm still very skeptical about things. However, it's what you're talking. It's showing real footage. People's honest responses, maybe right afterwards or even later in commentary. And again, it's not like you said, the bigger question is, if somebody asked me, do you believe in Bigfoot? And I remember the first time we were on the Darkness Radio.
Yes.
Remember that? And I'm like, and I go, and I kind of paused. It was hard at that point in time. And I go, yes, I do. And you're like, whoa, like, stop the press. What did you just say? And that's when I said, no, but I think the bigger, and then said, it's logic, actually, which sounds really odd, but logic dictated that answer to me, because it does go back to the too many reports, too many witnesses. People are experiencing something.
Right.
And they all can't be crazy and misidentifications. Probability, the most logical thing we have is math. Probability, some of them have to be, spot on. So with that being said, it becomes to what are people experiencing? What is a Bigfoot? However, I personally think that some of the other things that go on out there, and I know you do too, that may be natural, sometimes get thrown into the melting pot of everything being Bigfoot or everything being Dogman, some type of cryptid, where I think that there can be some scientific reasons that we just don't know the answers to. We're not experts at everything, so we don't know. But it certainly is strange. I mean, you have witnessed, I don't want you to say too much because I want people to get to see the documentary. but you have certainly witnessed strange things out there. I have as well. Mine have been more in the order of, even we were out, was it last weekend? And, I'm really racking my brains trying to figure out what we heard. Could that be natural?
Right.
Could it be, a large one? I don't know enough. Do cougars, are they always on the ground? We know that they can go around. Can they go up? Could tree branches break?
You're talking about that big break, right?
Yeah.
12 feet in front of us.
Yeah, and it's so difficult. The thing that you often see out there is you will hear, it's most much like people who have ghost experiences, where you hear something like a big noise happen right in front of you and nothing's there. We can't visually see anything. You're not finding anything with the thermal camera, but nonetheless, this bizarre thing has happened. Now, you could say that, okay, it does just happen, but when it keeps happening over and over and over.
And honestly, but that's exactly where my point of ghost researching, and I've done this, and I've been guilty for that.
I'll let you know, Sharon. Go ahead.
And I've been guilty for that, is as a ghost investigator, you go to a location, right? And you're there for what, 6 or 7 hours? And you can document what you can throughout the night. But then what? Where does it go then? You know what I'm saying? You don't go, generally, I don't know a lot of investigators that go back on a regular basis, week after week after week after week after week to the same areas to really measure the data. You know what I mean? From what they experienced on the initial to what they've always experienced. And that's the difference that I'm doing out in the woods, is that I'm not going out one time and hearing something and or seeing something and attributing that to Bigfoot or a cryptid or anything like that. I'm going out there on a regular basis. I do my rotations of areas, rotation of days, just always want to be out there so I can document that. So I think that's where the documentary is important, because it does show you in an order timeline, since I've been doing this, of what's happened way back then to what's happened now and everything in between.
Right. And it addresses things with, that this focuses more, and I think that was wise, to the Bigfoot phenomena. But, we've been out there, and I mean, crazy light anomalies. And I'm not talking like that first time. That's what got me. You have never even had that happen again or before. That was 30 minutes, and that was huge. It was just crazy. We weren't, not little lights, huge. Anyway, that, or EVP out there, or phantom sounds, something coming up on the trail, nothing's there, or again, the orbs, and then of course actual sighting. Now you've come across, I don't want to say too much, but there's been some other senses involved of things that you've had happen out there. And I think that that's fascinating to put it out there, because I think it's going to help a lot of people that have had the experience to go, so at least I'm not crazy. I'm not the only one that had this weird thing happen.
Exactly. But even with that said, there are so many things that are not a part of this documentary that I couldn't put in, or, right now the documentary is 2 hours long. People are saying, keep it to 60 minutes. You're going to lose your audience. I don't think so. And Mary, you tell me, did you feel like?
I did. I you know that I'm fairly honest about these things. Hence our Mulder Scully, because I'll just tell you. We took a cigarette break, and that was it, and went right back. And so, no, I did not. I was really kind of concerned myself, and I think that you did a really phenomenal job in editing it. It flows, it moves, there's change, so it didn't drag. You have a lot of different, people in there too, talking about stuff.
And that's exactly what I wanted to do, is, is make something that you don't normally see in a documentary. You hear documentary, you know what I hear? This is almost a I don't want to say reality because it is reality, but you've got actual field. You've got
It's just like a reality documentary. Oh wait, it is.
It's almost like a real documentary, but it's not. It's basically, bottom line is, I captured evidence, whether it's sound, video, or like that, and not have so many talking heads, but kind of mix it up a little bit and throw it in. And that's what I think really moves it. That's what I was going for anyway.
One thing that has been asked a couple times, Sharon was one. David is saying he can't wait to see it. I'll share some of these comments. Bill Brock, we go to the same location. And no, but wait a minute. There's something about Maine. I think he's talking to somebody else. Never mind.
Bill Brock. How you doing, Bill?
Yeah.
I'll be seeing you at the PA Bigfoot Camping Adventure.
So Michael Miller says that he had an experience last year for the first time while with family, I believe, hiking, but something's kind of like missing. I can't read it. But
I'm going to say that's the other thing. Like I said, you talk about, here's the co-writer.
Hey, Katie.
Hello.
See, there you go. That's where you should have met in the first place.
I was sitting on the chair watching.
So she's a co-writer. She's the one who helped you go, I love that part. And Katie, why did you want to do it the way you did?
It was the first thing that I thought about when he said he was going to write this documentary. That the ending was what I imagined first. But I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to tell people and explain it to them. Why are you calling it Finding Jay instead of Finding Bigfoot or Searching for Bigfoot?
Oh,
what is the reason for calling it Finding Jay?
That's a great question, Katie, and I will answer it for you. All right. Basically, it was this. It was when was it? A couple of years ago. I was actually out with Scott Marcus, and he kind of said, well, what do you do when you go out there and hike? You know, when you think of hiking, you think of going out there and walking for miles and miles. No, what I do is I get to a secure location, and then I sit and I wait. It's like fishing. I don't bang on trees. I don't do any yelps. I don't.
Yeah. Anymore.
Anymore.
But you know what? I want to interrupt you, but that's a growth process for everybody. When you're investigating, you're constantly learning and changing what you're doing in techniques.
Well, tell me, your techniques come from what? I got a lot of my techniques in ghost investigation from TAPS, Ghost Hunters, and Ghost Adventures TV. Therefore, watching Finding Bigfoot I had to go out there and yell and bring bright lights and bang on trees and yell and everything. But I think it wasn't until Mitchell Townsend out in Washington told me, he asked me one time, he just goes, well, are you trying to prove that they're real? Is that your end game, is to go out there and film it and be the first person? And I'm like, no, I just know that there's something out there. And he gave me a really good, strong path. And he said, go out there without lights. Don't bang on trees. Don't be yelling, and they'll find you. And it's so convincing, right? So it was that at that point when I was out there waiting that I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to go look for Bigfoot. I'm going to let him find me. So that's where the whole Finding Jay came from. It wasn't, narcissistic, hey, find Jay Bachochin. It was just, it's finding, and it could be finding Katie or finding Mary or finding Bill Brock. You know what I mean? It's the basis of get out there and they can find you. So. And
you need to tell them when they can get it or where they can get it. Because a lot of people are asking, when will I see this? When can I do it? Or when can I view it?
you will be able to look at
I don't have to do anything. I just sit here. It's my next question, Katie. Just let me know.
Sorry.
No. I'm teased. I'm totally. No, don't. Yeah, I'm totally teased.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
I'm actually, I've got to switch arms because this is my selfie. It gets tiring.
Okay, movie. When can you see it?
All right, no. The documentary itself. Are you going, Katie?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
I have practice.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Everyone say bye to Katie.
Bye.
All right. She has practice. Okay, so sorry for that. The documentary is going to be available June 1st. You can pre-order now, and anybody that pre-orders will receive it on or before June 1st. Okay?
Oh, whoa. When did this happen? I didn't catch that.
That was another Katie idea. She said if anybody pre-orders, they should have it on the day it comes out.
I agree. Good going, Katie. I love your wife.
She's a good girl. So therefore, if anybody pre-orders before I go to PA in Pennsylvania, I'm leaving on the 29th. I'm going to be shipping every pre-order out, so people will have it on the 29th, the 30th, 31st, or the 1st.
Does that mean that me and the others that are in the documentary will have it in hand?
In hand.
Yay!
Yes, you will. Yes,
So,
everybody that, and I mean, I don't know how many people that have been in the documentary are following right now or watching, but I have let them know that everybody gets a free copy for contributing, and I'll give it to you like in mid-May.
all right, and then also it is coming out on Amazon Prime though later on.
Yes, well, 1 month later, it will actually be streaming in HD in all of its glory on Amazon Prime July 1st at midnight, July 1st. And you can either, buy the download. I've actually got to check what those are again. I know you can rent.
David Darmides said, I'll get this out, said he's ordering today.
Thank you.
So, by the way, are they going to WPI Hunts the Truth to pre-order?
Yes. Now, there's been a little snafu. Don't ask me. It's not me. It's nothing I can control. But if you go to WPIHuntsTheTruth.com, in the upper right-hand corner, there is a Finding Jay pre-order link. You click on that. It takes you to a PayPal. And from there, it's a secure PayPal. Click and do your thing. You have to fill in your information. It's $20 for the Blu-ray. It's $5 for shipping and handling. So it's $25 even. Pop that in. I get a notification once I get that. I like to do shout outs on Facebook and thank you for your order. However,
I will, Terry.
There have been a few snafus with it where people have messaged me saying, I'm trying PayPal, but it's not working. But the majority are working. And what I'm finding out is it's a web browser conflict. That's something I can't control. However, if it's not working for you that way, they go to just PayPal to send money, because you can just go through there without going through a link, and just put in my email address, which is the letter J, and then it's Bachochin, B as in boy, ACHOCHIN @charter.net. If you do it that way, it'll come to me as well. So
I am going to, when we get done here, I will try to see if I can do it in a edit, like the header section. But just in case I can't, when we're done, in the comments, Terry just asked, can you drop in the link? So put in the Hunts the Truth link onto this video in the comments.
I will do that. When we're done, I will throw that on. Because, in bottom line, I'm beyond humble and honored that I've already had 12 pre-orders. When I set out to do this, and Katie will vouch for me, she's not here right now, but she'll vouch for me. I said, if one other person besides me and her watching it, that was my end game. That was my, oh, we just lost Mary. Is she coming?
No, it was going to be noise in a minute, so I shut the door.
Good thinking. I was just saying this is my first attempt. I do video editing. I think I have an eye for what I want to do, but I didn't want to dramatize what I wanted to put out. And I just wanted to put this out so that people can actually watch it going, have an open mind. Maybe it is. Maybe Bigfoot exists.
Well, I think this is pretty cool. I just want to tell everybody who is watching, I did enjoy watching it. I liked seeing, for me, it was getting to see some of the experiences we had like talked about either on the phone or messaged about, like, hey, this happened, kind of a thing. So that was kind of interesting to see that. But yeah, and then you may be doing, you don't have to say anything specific, but just to mention that you also may be doing a, what do you call it?
A premiere.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I really should do it, but it probably wouldn't happen until after the DVDs or the Blu-rays released.
And then there's that
What I wanted to do is I'm going to pick a theater up in Wisconsin.
No, Michael, he's only doing Blu-ray. So what you can do, you can get it on Amazon then, right? Because it's only Blu-ray, right?
Right. People ask me all the time, they're like, why not regular DVDs? First, and I don't want to offend anybody, but where have you been? It's all HD these days. I know.
Well, and here's the other thing. Most people don't realize their DVD players really are dual. They a majority of them do both DVD and Blu-ray. So check your DVD player. It might do Blu-ray.
Right, and the thing is, I'm actually behind in the times because they have 4K out, and I don't have a 4K TV or a 4K player. But if you had a 4K player, the 4K would play 4K, Blu-ray, and regular DVD. Just like Blu-ray will play Blu-ray and regular DVD. Like you said, it's dual. And my footage is in HD. There is no way to compress all, that information into a standard DVD.
Yeah, and it is pretty. I did comment on that too. I could see the clarity of the HD. It was real nice.
Yeah.
On there. Well, I mean, I don't want to keep everybody too much on this. I'm sure what we're going to do is Jay his work has prompted me to resurrect for one show. I'm going to be doing, what do we say, in July where I'm doing this? I don't remember.
I thought it was May.
Oh, May. Okay. See,
I think it was that Friday before Memorial Day.
Hey, Len, I've got all this other stuff going on in my head. Yeah, I'm going to do one special, the Paranormal MD radio show podcast. And I will be posting it here. I'll probably post it on YouTube. You'll probably post it on yours, maybe. And we're going to get a little more in depth, where we're going to be talking about a little about the stories and more specifics and some other people's experiences rather than do this here.
Right.
And now, with this being said, we could probably take this if it turns out okay and use that to post as well.
Yes, definitely. Don't forget to save.
Yeah. Am I missing anything?
Don't forget to hit save.
I can't hit save. Remember that? When it's in this? No. If only when it's in, if it's vertical, if it's up, I can do. If it's horizontal, I cannot.
Okay. Well.
It's like right now there's a finish button. There is no save. But if I do it where, this way, then I can do it.
Okay.
But
Well,
it'll be there. I've learned to trust, to just hit finish and let it go.
let it go.
Go
Let it
Zen.
let it go. Well, I mean,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So I'm gonna thank you,
No,
and
thank you.
then
Thank you.
I will get this going. I'm gonna let you go. I'll do that, and then I'll tie it up here, and yeah,
That's.
just
I do have
I'll
one. I
remind
do have
everybody.
one question for you. One question.
It's not gonna be.
I'm going to give you a scenario. Okay. We're hiking up a kettle, and also we get to the top, and we stop and we look around and we realize we are surrounded by 50 Bigfoot. They're just all around us. What would you do? What would you do?
You know the answer to that.
I just want the world to hear it.
I would think that that I was hallucinating, or we were hallucinating if we both saw it, and I would be like looking for some sort of like fungus or something that is causing us to have hallucinated like that.
Yeah. Well, all I got to say is that's so Scully.
Yes, Mulder.
All right.
All right, bye.
Bye.
I don't know how can you. Oh, do I X you? Is that how I make you go
X
away?
me. X me.
I'm gonna X you. See if that works. It didn't work. It won't make. Oh, there it goes. You're gone.